Hi, in this video I'd like to explain to you where you can find the blues scale on our tonal map, on our IFR tonal map. And I'd also like to demonstrate to you how this blues scale contains some beautiful dissonant sounds and how you can practice them in a way that you really internalize these sounds so that you are able to play freely with the sounds. And I'd also like you to experience the difference between improvising with a blues scale over blues harmony on one hand and improvising with the sounds which are inside the blues harmony on the other hand. The blues scale originates in vocal unaccompanied music. And it was this vocal blues that contained some very dissonant sounding notes. Notes that didn't even exist in our 12-tone music because they were pitched somewhere in between our 12 tones. But musicians who wanted to copy these very dissonant sounding notes placed them in our 12-tone musical system. And these sounds, these specific sounds, we now know refer to as blue notes. So you must have heard of that word before. Let me explain to you where we can locate the blue notes in the tonal map of our major scale. Let me first play for reference to your ear a major scale in concert C. Now the first blue note we're going to add to our vocabulary replaces note 2 and 3 of the major scale. We're going to replace these notes by the note we call flat 3. This is how it sounds. The second blue note we're going to add to our vocabulary replaces notes 6 and 7 of the major scale. We're calling it flat 7, and this is how it sounds. The final blue note we will add to our vocabulary will not replace any other note. It's flat 5, a very dissonant sounding note, which we will place between note 4 and 5, and it will therefore also function as some sort of chromatic bridge between those notes. It calls out to be released to either note 5 or note 4. I will demonstrate this later, but this is how flat 5 sounds. Now let me explain something to you about the dissonance of these blue notes. Blue note flat 3 and flat 7 sometimes sound dissonant, so they sound worried or bluesy, but sometimes they are perfectly in harmony with the blues harmony that is going on. And then they sound very consonant, very relaxed. And then there's also our blue note flat 5, which actually always sounds dissonant. So now I'm going to demonstrate to you why that is. In the next picture on the right side I'm showing you the blues scale, and the column left to that will show the chord that is currently played. We will play a major blues chord progression, a standard major blues chord progression. In the tonal map of the harmony you can see if there is this flat 3 note or flat 7 note in the harmony while I play it or not. And you please listen closely, pay attention to the sound. Does it sound dissonant or not? this is actually a great way for you to practice these sounds, because it's really important if you practice the sounds of harmony and melody that you incorporate them into your system, that you really meditate on the sounds to make them yours. And if they are yours, because when you improvise you don't really have time to think of all this, but you know where you can find these notes, and therefore you also have your tonal map. Now I'll demonstrate to you how you can improvise using either just the notes of the blues scale on this major blues, and in the second chorus I will improvise with the notes which are in the harmony. I'm using blues harmony to improvise. And finally I will mix these sounds because I feel comfortable with doing both. So this is my demonstration of the blues scale and how the dissonant notes work in the particular situation of blues harmony. Feel free to practice with it. If you are interested in being able to play along with the harmony in the blues and major blues or minor blues or jazz blues, then you have to work with the Blues Mastery course. The material I'm using here comes from the IFR Blues Mastery course. But I think after watching this video you know enough to practice the blues scale. So enjoy your practice.